Good morning. I even eat oatmeal at home for breakfast. Still hot. Pepper Jack? Hello, and welcome to my office. So, I'm going to give you a little tour and talk about this trip that I'm taking with Chopper and Whisper and Klair Voyance and Coasty. We're going to do 140 miles of the Southern Oregon PCT section from Ashland to Mount Thielsen. And we're going to do that in 10 days, so we're averaging about 14 miles a day. Pretty casual. We are expecting some weather. It's going to be raining, possible hail or snow. It should be a really great trip, just like I say about all of them. They all should be pretty great. I've never had a bad trip yet, except for that one time that I was in that jam band, and anyway, that should be a fun trip. Let's start with the gear. So here I am in my office. I've got this closet over here that I keep all my stuff in. Shaboing. In my little closet, got a lot of my gear hung up. That's Klair Voyance's bag and some of my winter bags. This is my Hunza 60 that I'm going to be taking. This is a Granite 30. This is my Kelty sleeping bag and my Army issued bivvy, and it's got a bag in it as well. Frog togs, jacket, and pants. And this is actually a Nordic Trek packable down jacket. I also sleep in that in conjunction with my Kelty sleeping bag, which is rated at 20. I've got my trekking poles and an umbrella, which I'm probably taking since it's going to be raining. Got my water bladder hanging up there to dry. Klair Voyance is going to be using that. Down here in a pile, kind of, I've got my tents, different tents. This one's big, which I use car camping. I've got an REI Camp Dome 2, which Klair Voyance is going to be bringing in the resupply. And then up here I've got a bivvy tent there. I've got mosquito netting, a sole bivvy. I'm all about the bivvies. Got some sleeping pads, another pad down there, that's the one I use. It's just solid core foam. And I've got an Eno single nest hammock and a Fast Fly. The Fast Fly rain tarp is what I'm going to be taking on the first 4 days anyway, to start out with, until Klair Voyance shows up, and we're going to be sharing this REI Camp Dome 2 tent, and then I'll probably go back to the tarp, because I'm a tarp, ground sheet, bivvy kind of guy, as you've probably seen in some of my videos. A lot of times I just use this little mosquito net during the summer, and that keeps the bugs out, and it's cool enough, and I don't need anything else. So in these totes here, I've got all stoves, cook kits, water filters, water bags, etc. All my little tools and gadgets kind of go in here. I don't keep fuel in there because that's dangerous, I guess. There's my cook kit over there. It's got some fuel in it. In this one, personal care, toiletries, first aid, survival kits, accessories, blah, blah, blah. So basically, in those two is almost all of my gear. This one, I keep my electronics, lights, headlamps. Down here I've got rope and line and different clips and stuff, because I do like to modify my gear, so I have a lot of extra parts and parts that I cut off. They kind of go in there, and then I'll use them later. Got a bunch of little bags. Got a waterproof bag. This is my day hiking bag, and I've got leftover Ziploc bags because I do not like to waste. I like to reuse. Down here I've got some bushcrafting stuff. I do have tent stakes over there, but I've got a trowel, I've got hatchet, saw, gloves, things like that. These are all boxes of some leftover food, which I usually pack first, and some leftovers from my last couple of trips. Right around this corner here, I've got my little section of hiking books and maps, and this is that logbook I was telling you about. But as far as planning the trip, basically I just start off with a map of where I'm going. Usually that's a paper map. I like paper maps, at least for the planning process. I'll use other maps and other data sources such as PCT's Half Mile, Gaia GPS, and I don't use All Trails as much. And then I'll also use Google Earth. It's just to try to get as many different sources of information for the area that I'm going as possible. So once I have the map, then I will find my starting point and then look anywhere between 10 and 20 miles down the trail to find another water source. I try to plan each campsite to be by water, either a creek or a lake, just some kind of water source, so we don't have to dry camp and, pack a bunch of water. This trip, unfortunately, there's quite a few long stretches without water. Okay, so this is the map that I'm going to be using from National Geographic, and it's almost the complete section that we're going to be doing anyway. So what I do here, if I can do this one-handed, actually starting on this page, I use little labels. This is what I used here, and then I cut these little pointers out, and then I can point out, see, this is where we're going to be starting, and then about 14 miles down the trail there, this is where the pipe spring near a pond is going to be, and then from there, then I go to the next day, bam, and then we're at Hyatt Reservoir, and then I just keep going down the trail. And I like this one too. It's a waterproof map, and it's really small. It's easy to take with you on the trail. And the reason I do this and I cut little tabs off is because I don't like drawing on my map. So instead of actually writing on my map, I'll just use these, and then I can move these around as I need to and adjust to my trip. So a lot of the times, I wouldn't say a lot of times, but often we have to make decisions on the trail depending on the circumstances, i.e. the weather or the trail conditions, that may just choose an alternate route or not go where we were planning at first. Sometimes it could be injury, or it could be gear failure or whatever. It's always good to have a plan. Know before you go. Know where your water sources are. And then, even though you're planned before the trip, you may need to change those plans while you're out there. So you have to be kind of open-minded and be able to adapt to the situations that you're facing out there. With enough preparation, you can really kind of do any kind of trip you'd like. It's just about knowing before you go. Know before you go. Know before you go.